Okay, good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of the Dmrc. If we can start with apologies and substitutes.
No apologies, Convener, but just to confirm that Councillor Beattie is a substitute member for Councillor Durno for the Duntroon application.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, this is a hybrid meeting and we have Councillor Dorn online.
And Councillor Fairweather.
And Councillor Fairweather. Okay, declarations of interest or declarations of transparency.
Councillor Fairweather.
Councillor Fairweather.
Right, thanks, Convener. Neither really, but just a statement. I won't be taking part in item 4 because I've not been been involved in that.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Councillor Fairweather, for clarifying that. So you're sitting out the first item, but will be in for the second item. And right. Councillor, thank you, Councillor Dorn.
Yep, thank you. I want to just put on a statement of transparency, as I have on previous meetings regarding the application for the Duntroon crematorium, that I've received a lot of correspondence. I'm actually getting quite a bad echo. I'm not sure if other people are getting that. I've received quite a lot of correspondence both before the election in 2022 and after the election regarding this issue. I did respond to some before I was elected, but at no point did I indicate any opinion on the matter. I've shared that correspondence with officers, and since the decision was taken, I've received further correspondence on the matter. I've not responded to that communication that I've received.
Okay, no other statements of transparency from committee. Okay, just back on to them. Okay, we now move on to the minute of the previous meeting. Is that agreed? Okay, thank you for that. Move on to item 4, which is land northeast of Duntroon House, Duntroon. I guess I will start by stating that we've had, or the committee has had, a number of email letters from a variety of objectors, and we haven't responded to any of those. And that is because it is a quasi-judicial committee and we don't engage in any discussion with any applicant or proposer of a project. That is just not the done thing. So it's not impoliteness, it's just simply the way we operate. So we'll move on to, I think we've also had some communication relatively recently from an objector about the conditions, and I'm going to take legal advice about whether we should deal with that at all.
Mr. Singh.
Yes. We've got Mr. Singh online, so did you get that? Sorry, okay.
Yes, Convener, thank you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Yes, so members have already agreed to uphold the appeal. The conditions are in front of the members today. It's my understanding that there's no provision for this information to be considered at this stage of the process, so be taken into consideration. I don't know if planning colleague wishes to add anything else into this.
Okay, thanks very much. So we cannot consider any correspondence now from the objector. That's essentially what you're saying.
That's correct. Yeah, there's no provision at this stage yet.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Okay, can I pass over to Ms Tierney, who will take us through the next stage of the process?
Thank you, Convener. So I'm just going to run through the background to the paper today and the conditions in front of you. When Dmrc considered the appeal on the 14th of March and upheld the review, the discussion and decision noted that many of the road junctions were not all of modern standard, and that with suitable signage and mitigation that they would be of satisfactory standard without any junction visibility improvement apart from at the entrance to the site works. The reason for the decision to approve made by Dmrc is attached at the end of the conditions in front of you. The conditions you would require on the basis of the decision made on the 14th of March and reason would not require the conditions in your papers 6, 7, 8 or 9, which are only really included for clarity to allow you to decide to dismiss them in line with your previous decision. With regard to the position of officers, roads officers assessed the transport assessment submitted by the appellant and agreed that only visibility improvements were required at the junction of the U315 and B978. That is, or was 4.5 by 160 metre visibility to the south and 2.4 by 160 visibility to the north being provided. Albeit that was not on the ground in the ownership of the appellant, and that could be carried out by cutting back trees and shrubs, which the council has powers to do, and therefore is likely the reason this was not challenged by the appellant at the time. These improvements would not require any reduction in the speed limit on the B978. So condition 6, option 1 in front of you, if required, details this visibility but would require the council to cut back vegetation. A revised roads response in December 2021 was provided in response to information submitted by third parties. This stated that due to topography, the above visibility improvements would not be achievable without vertical alignment of the U315 and B978 junction. And roads then required the visibility to be 4.5 metres in both by 160 in both directions, which Dmrc could consider as an alteration to condition 6, option 1 in your papers if required. Again, condition 7, if required, states a further amendment of reduced visibility is possible of 4.5 by 120 to the south and 2.4 by 120 to the north, and this would be in conjunction with condition 8, if required, for the speed limit to be reduced to 40 miles an hour. As a further response to the information from third parties, roads officers also then required the C4 and U315 junction to be improved to 2.4 metres by 160 metres in both directions. And if required, that's detailed in condition 9. However, again, this is over ground which is out with the appellant's ownership. No visibility improvements were recommended for the C4 and B978 Murrows Junction or the C4 and B978 Westhull Junction, presumably as proposed directional signage will take you to the U315 and B978 junction. Condition 10, again if Dmrc require it, looks for a travel plan to be submitted for a new bus stop at the site entrance and or mechanisms for private electric transportation. With regard to the appellant's position, the visibility detailed in condition 6 was contained in the transport assessment, albeit assuming this would be provided by the council under its own powers. Appropriate mitigation is agreed and recommended in condition 12, including additional passing places and widening the road along the frontage of the site to 5.5 metres. Also agreed is condition 5 concerning the required and implementable visibility at the entrance to the site. Directional signage is recommended in condition 13. It should be highlighted that, as previously discussed, Dmrc and roads officers have agreed that they do not consider this to be a significant travel generating development. The road service has also noted that traffic from the development can be accommodated within the local road network. I would therefore advise Dmrc that care must therefore be taken to not use the development to remedy existing deficiencies when these can be remedied by the Roads Authority under its own powers. I would finally draw your attention to Circular 4/1998 on the use of conditions, where the authority should be satisfied that any conditions are reasonable, especially if the authority is aware that the appellant does not control the land where visibility works are required. The council can exercise its powers to require landowners to remove growth if out with the verge and has powers to improve splays itself. Other recommended conditions are standard and relate to lighting details, access to the agricultural grounds to the north, landscaping, drainage and noise. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. So to summarise matters in terms of the conditions, we have got conditions 1 to 5 and conditions 11 to, I think, 15, which there is really no issue about, and we have got conditions 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 are flagged if required. And I think, I don't know what the other members of the committee feel, but I think if we could look at those if required conditions and discuss whether we feel they are required or not. So that would be, I think, so I think if we can take conditions 1 to 5 as agreed, and I think if we can take conditions 11 to the end, is that 15 to 15 as agreed, and then we focus our attention on the conditions 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and really I open it up to elected members for their views on those if required conditions. Councillor Nicholl.
Thank you very much, Convener. I'm in favour of the conditions except for number 6, 7, 9, 10. 8 I wouldn't say was essential, but maybe be preferable. That would be the reduction of the speed limit.
Yep, thank you.
Thank
you. And Councillor Dorn, I see your hands up as well.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I would be in favour of supporting condition 6, option 1, condition 9 and condition 10 on out of these as well. I would also question whether or not 6 and 9 would need to be in place before work starts, because that would also have an increase in traffic to the site. So I just wanted to clarify on where we were on that as the conditions. We all visited those junctions and saw what they were like and looked at them from a driver's perspective. And there's also the speed assessment that's been done on those roads as well. So in terms of safety around driving those areas, then I would, that's why I'm asking that question around whether or not they could be in place before work starts. And I would be very supportive of and would want to support condition 10, as mentioned in the meeting where we took the decision. I think we really need to make sure that there are alternative transport options to the site and making sure it's accessible by bus. That means it's better kind of future longevity of the site, and it's something that we need to consider within our planning.
Okay, thank you. So I've got that clear, Councillor Dorn. I think you are proposing a condition 6, 9 and 10. Okay. Thank you. Other members, what's the view? Councillor Brays?
Yes, thanks, Convener. I would prefer that we only include condition 8. But I would like to make sure that the applicants do have proper signage on the roads to direct traffic to the crematorium, and I'm just wondering if that's covered elsewhere within the conditions, including 8.
Was that perhaps covered? Was that perhaps covered in condition 13? I'm slightly hampered because I don't have the papers.
Yeah, it is
in front of me, so
which we're agreed to. Yes, so that's fine. Just condition 8, I would apply.
I think condition 13, because what we, when we did the site visit, we were anxious that there was clear directions at for example, the junction from the road that comes from Monifeith, that it was a left turn at that junction to prevent the possibility that someone might turn right and then have to take that difficult junction at the house. So I would have thought we were anxious that we had clear signage there, and I think we would be expecting signage at the junction with the 978, which is the direct route to the site. I think that would be my expectation from the site visit. So you're basically saying, Councillor Brays, if I can summarise, you would like condition 8 adopted, and you just made the check on the signage, which I think we have got covered. Councillor Beattie.
Yeah, so I've already.
Sorry, we can't hear online.
Sorry, everyone. Yeah, I would like condition 8 and condition 10. I think we should have the availability to have public transport at the site, stop at the site.
Okay, I mean, I would. My own view is that we considered the viability of bus travel at the hearing on the 14th of March, and my view certainly is that we didn't think that was not something that we felt from our experience was that realistic, and I think my view would certainly be I think condition 10 isn't in fact my view a sensible option. I agree with councillors on condition 8. That was something that we picked up on the site visit, and we felt that was a sensible change to make. Sorry, Councillor Doran.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify something. A number of councillors have mentioned option 8, but is that not attached to condition 7? Because it says condition 7 and condition 8 says should option 2 be required. So if we have condition 8, does that not automatically mean we need condition 7?
Okay, can I ask Ms Tierney her view on that point?
Yeah, thank you, convener. The condition for the speed limit order was something that was to go alongside the visibility suggested in condition 7, because that was a lesser splay, and along with the lesser splay, if the speed limit was reduced, that the two would go together and be acceptable. That is not to say if Dmrc don't wish to add any of the visibility conditions that are suggested, that they couldn't add the condition to reduce the speed limit if that was the decision.
I mean, my take on that would be reducing the speed limit can't possibly cause any harm. It is very adjacent to Dundee. There might be additional traffic on the junction, so it might be a sensible measure. It's not going to do any detriment. I take the point that the difference between 6 and 7 conditions was whether it was a 60 mile an hour national speed limit or the 40. But if we don't wish to adopt condition 7, we can still put the speed limit on. That's not going to do any harm. So I think that would certainly be my point of view. To move matters forward, can I ask can I ask someone to propose a motion on conditions? Okay, Councillor Nicholl, can you give us a motion, please?
I put forward a motion that we don't accept 6, 7, 9, 10, and we do accept motion condition number 8.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Nicholl. So Councillor Nicholl's motion is that we don't accept conditions 6, 7, 9 and 10, but we do accept condition 8, which is a lower speed limit. Do you have a seconder?
I'll second that, convener.
Councillor Brace. Do we have an amendment? Councillor Dorn, can you give us your amendment, please?
Yes, please. I would like to put forward an amendment. So I want to put forward that we accept conditions 6, conditions 9 and conditions 10.
Okay. And do you have a seconder for that motion? There doesn't appear to be a seconder for that. Okay. Are there any other amendments? Councillor Beattie.
Sorry, that we should accept motion 8, 8 and 10.
8 and 10. Okay. Do you have a seconder, Councillor Beattie?
No seconder can be.
There doesn't appear to be a seconder for that motion either. So, given that we've got a motion from Councillor Nicholl, and we have no amendments with a seconder, then we have agreed that the conditions applied are 1 to 5, condition 8, and condition 11 to 15. Is that agreed? Thank you.
Could I record my dissent on that decision, please? Thank you.
Okay, your dissent is recorded, Councillor Doran. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, can we move on to the next item of the agenda? And
Just give the members.
okay, and Councillor Beattie will be taking his leave, and we've got Councillor Durno in for the next item. Okay, we now move on to item 5, and we have Councillor Durno in attendance, and Councillor Beattie has left us, and we should have Councillor Fairweather online. I think, yes, we do have, and Councillor Doran. Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is land at Downey Hills, Craigton, Moniki. And if I could ask Ms Mackay to give us the presentation from planning. Now, the issue I think here is there is a lot of confidential information in the appendices, and I think we will now have to stop the online streaming to avoid breaching that confidentiality. So if we could disconnect from the live stream.